Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This here is the Christian Trucker, and I was going to make y'all a video today. I am sitting in the rain in Gonzales, Louisiana at the moment. We're going to start this video off. I've got a couple of different things I'm going to talk about. We're going to start it off with a trucking tidbit for my owner-operators and my company guys. Look, we hauled a load of iron oxide from above Mobile, Alabama, and took it up to Ames, Iowa. Load didn't pay really well, but it got us through the weekend and got us up on our mile count. When you take that load, you better calculate in a washout for your dry van, because let me tell y'all, it was nasty. Let me see if I can get a picture so I can put it in there for you. Alright, so there it is. It was nasty. But they had two different washes, a $40 wash and a $100 wash. The $40 wash was not enough pressure, so we had to go with the $100 wash. Here's a statement from them, from Brookstone and Ames. Yeah, they did good. I mean, they got us, we were able to get loaded that night after the trailer dried out, because when he went over to get the load where we got coming back down to Texas, they told him he had to come back after the trailer dried because they couldn't run the forklifts up in there. So yeah, he had to go down to the truck stop, take a break, and then come back and get it later that night. But for $100 they sprayed her out real good, and it wasn't hardly nothing left in that trailer. And you know, I ain't one that really likes to get a dry van washed out, but that's why they call it a dry van. But on occasion you have to when you get something stupid like that. And well, let's just say iron oxide is off of my list, because by the time I took that into account, fuel and everything, you know, there wasn't much meat left on that bone. And we live and we learn, and that's my tidbit for today for us owner operators and company owners and stuff. If you get a load that says iron oxide, you need to factor in a washout, because there's no use in trying to go get that next load without a washout. Because even our plant load, let me include another picture of that. Our plant load did not require a washout, but he did sweep a lot of stuff out of that thing. So it's going to require a little extra labor on them plant loads too. But you know, as you go through these loads and you learn the customers and the shippers and receivers and everything, you'll learn the better ones to take. Because I'm all in dry van freight, in my experience, what you got to do is keep that truck moving, have as little downtime as you can at the shippers and receivers, and as little work as possible on the driver. You need to make it work seamlessly. I mean, everything needs to move smooth. Alright, that's to make the best profit in dry van. That's where I was going with that. Anyway, we're moving on. We're going to move on into the next topic, which is taxes. Annual taxes at that. We are set up as an S Corp, so we had to have everything done a little earlier. So we finally got our numbers in, and well, I got to pay a little bit. Yep, I got to pay a little bit. My previous tax preparer did not have her stuff together, so therefore I did not have my stuff together. The buck stops with me. I was surprised this year. I made a little more than what I had thought. And so my big surprise came that, you know, we used that marketplace health insurance. Well, lo and behold, I made too much money for it, so guess what? I got to pay it back. That's right, $9,500 worth of health insurance. I've got to pay that back to the feds. Yeah, that was real wonderful to find out, because, you know, I wasn't calculating that. I didn't even think about that, honestly, until she told me that I had to pay it back. And I was like, ouch. So yeah, we got to pay that back. Plus we got to pay around $5,000 to the state, because the state does not recognize depreciation. State is going to get their income no matter what. So yeah, But my first numbers that came back like to gave me a coronary. I like to have been a dead Christian trucker. But I lived because we got them all situated, and she wasn't including the first 2 quarters that I paid in, which we didn't pay in nothing on the second 2 quarters because there was no profit to pay in for, in my opinion, which I would have been right, and I wouldn't have had to pay any back. I would have got $1,000, but instead we have to pay the health care back. Sometimes you do have those unforeseen things pop up, and that was mine this year, and hopefully that will be the last little unforeseen issue. But having the taxes done and getting my numbers where I can make plans for the future, I'm pretty numbers oriented, especially when I have time to sit down and think and put everything in the paper and come over it with a fine-tooth comb. But here running these 3 trucks lately, I haven't had enough time to really get into the nuts and bolts like I like. My wife has taken a load off of me, God bless her. She is taking a load off of me by helping me with a lot of the invoicing and stuff. So, I mean, my system is probably different than anybody else's system. I have a system that works for me. I've got color codes. I've got divisions and sections and stuff. And she's learned my system. And, if she can learn my system, she's a great lady. I'm going to tell you that. God's honest truth right there. She's a great lady and she's smart. Anybody that can follow up behind me. I mean, sometimes my stuff gets a little haywire, but I know where my information is, and it works well for me. And that's what matters, is so that I can go in there and I can pinpoint where my expenses are, my maintenance is, my cost per mile, all of that stuff. I got it to where I can get to it quick, and so everybody's got to come up with their own system for their truck office, for their business, and make it where it works for you. But you need to also have somebody else trained in it, because if something would have happened to me, my wife would have been lost. And if I would have needed something when I was away from home, she would have been lost. But me bringing her into the fold, see, I was trying to keep her out of it for as long as possible, because I wanted her to enjoy being the housewife and raising the youngin' and everything. But it just got to the point to where I was overloaded, getting miserable, and contemplating, is it even worth it? But thanks to her, we are still floating. Anyway, that's all for today. God bless each and every one of you, far and above your dreams. We shall catch you on the next ride.